So here is our paragraph that we're doing this week about whales. And our goal for right now is going to be able to figure out what is the main idea in a whale of a story. I'm going to read it for you. There has been in history a man who was swallowed by a whale and lived to tell the tale. The man's name was James Bartley. The records to prove this unusual experience are in the British Admiralty. I've never heard that before. This story takes place at a time when whales were hunted for meat and oil. Bartley was making his first trip on the whaling ship Star of the East. Suddenly, the lookout sighted a huge sperm whale. The whalers knew it was a huge whale by the size of the spray it blew into the air. They lowered their small boats. James Bartley was in the first longboat. The men rowed until they were close to the whale. A harpoon was thrown and found its mark. It sank into the whale's flesh. The maddening beast crashed into the boat, snapping its tail at the men and the wreckage of their boats. When the survivors were picked up, James Bartley was missing. Shortly before sunset, the whale was finally captured. The sailors tied the whale's carcass, or its body, to the side of the ship. Because of the hot weather, it was important that they cut up the whale right away. Otherwise, the meat would begin to rot and the oil would begin to spoil. When they got to the stomach, they felt something moving about wildly. They thought it would be a big fish still alive inside. But when they opened the stomach, they found James Bartley. After this trip, Bartley settled in Gloucester, England, and never returned to sea. So I'm thinking that he never returned to sea because this experience was pretty traumatic for him, pretty scary. Okay, so now we're going to think of what was the main idea. So, A, whaling was a dangerous business. B, the whale smashed a small boat from the whaling ship. Or C, James Bartley was swallowed by a whale and lived. Dante thinks C. What do you think, Emily?
A.
Okay, so A says whaling is a dangerous business, and that is true. That is what the story is about. But C is a better main idea because it's really talking about James Bartley's experience with being swallowed by a whale and living throughout the whole story. So this one is too broad. And then this one says a whale smashed into a small boat from the whaling ship. That is just one detail that happened in the story, so that one's too narrow. So C, James Bartley was swallowed by a whale and lived is the correct answer there. Okay.